Homeless boy took 5 bullets to save biker's daughter. What the Hells Angels did next is unbelievable. The night had been colder than usual, the kind of cold that slipped under the skin and stayed in the bones, and 15-year-old Arav pulled his thin jacket tighter around himself as he sat beneath the rusted overpass. He had been living on the streets for almost a year now, ever since his stepfather threw him out with nothing but a backpack and the clothes he wore. Life had been a continuous stretch of gray. Same cold, same hunger, same lonely shadows, until fate dragged him into a story no one would ever believe. It was almost midnight when Arav heard the distant rumble of motorcycles. The sound vibrated through the concrete pillars like thunder, deep and heavy. Most people would be afraid, because the only group that rode through this part of the city at this hour were the Hells Angels, known not for kindness but for ruling the streets with intimidation. Arav didn't expect trouble, they rarely bothered with someone like him. But as the engines grew louder, he heard something else, shouting, panicked, sharp. Then a girl's voice screamed. Arav's heart lurched. He sprang to his feet, his instincts pushing him forward before his brain caught up. Across the road, near the old tire shop, he saw 2 armed men trying to drag a small girl away. She was kicking wildly, tears streaking down her face. Behind her lay an overturned bike and a backpack with patches that clearly belonged to a biker family. Without thinking, Arav sprinted toward them. He didn't know who the girl was, didn't know why the men were taking her, but he knew one thing: he wasn't going to stand there and watch. "Let her go," he shouted, grabbing the arm of the closest man. The man turned, stunned for a second, then snarled, "Beat it, kid." But Arav didn't move. He planted himself in front of the girl just as the second man lifted a gun. Adrenaline drowned out fear. The world slowed. He pushed the girl behind him, then the shots rang out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each impact felt like a hammer slamming into his body, knocking the air from his lungs. He collapsed, vision blurring, but even as he fell he held onto the girl's hand. The last thing he saw before darkness swallowed him was a swarm of motorcycles pulling up, their lights flooding the street. When Arav woke, everything felt soft, too soft for someone used to concrete and cardboard. He blinked, confused, staring at the white ceiling above him. A hospital, for him. Before he could piece anything together, a huge man with a leather vest and tattoos covering both arms walked in. His presence filled the room with authority and something unexpected, concern. "You awake, kid?" the man asked, pulling up a chair. Arav nodded weakly. "Where? The girl. Is she safe?" the man said. "Because of you." He placed a hand on Arav's shoulder, surprisingly gentle. "I'm Blaze, president of the Hells Angels chapter around here. And you, well, you saved my daughter." Arav stared at him, shocked. Blaze continued, "If you hadn't stepped in, those men would have taken her. We were seconds too late. You took 5 bullets for someone you didn't even know." Arav swallowed, unable to form words. "Why, kid, why risk your life?" Arav looked down at the hospital blanket. "Because someone should have helped," he said simply. Blaze exhaled, almost in disbelief. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he stood, walked to the door, and motioned. A woman rushed in, eyes red from crying. The girl he had saved followed, her small hand wrapped around her mother's fingers. She approached Arav's bed, her voice soft. "You saved me, thank you." Arav felt warmth spread in his chest, something he hadn't felt in a long, long time. For the next week, the Hells Angels stayed with Arav in shifts. They brought him food, blankets, even cracked jokes to make him smile. Nurses whispered that they had never seen bikers like this, gentle, protective, almost like family. But the biggest shock came after Arav was discharged. Blaze met him outside the hospital, holding papers. "Kid," he said, "I looked into your situation. You have no home, no support. That ends today." Arav frowned, unsure. Blaze continued, "You're coming with us." Arav's eyes widened. I can't join a biker gang." Blaze burst out laughing. "We're not recruiting you, kid. We're adopting you." Arav froze. The world seemed to tilt. "Adopting me?" Blaze nodded. "You saved my daughter. You risked everything without thinking twice. No one's ever done something like that for us. You've got courage most grown men don't. And you deserve better than the streets." Cheers blurred Arif's vision. For the first time in a year, someone wanted him. Someone saw him as more than a stray kid begging for survival. The next weeks felt like a dream. He got new clothes, a room of his own for the first time in years, and a family that felt loud, chaotic, and fiercely protective. The bikers taught him how to fix engines, how to ride safely, how to defend himself. Blaze's daughter followed him everywhere, as if he were her hero, which, in truth, he had become. But the Hells Angels did more. They organized a charity ride in Arif's honor to raise money for homeless youth. The turnout was massive. Hundreds of bikes roared across the city, and they raised enough funds to build a shelter named Arif's Haven, dedicated to the homeless boy who risked everything to save a stranger. Reporters asked Arif how it felt to be a hero. He always said the same thing: "I'm not a hero. I just didn't look away." But the world disagreed, and the Hells Angels, they gave him what he had been denied for so long: a home, a future, and a family that would bleed for him just as he had bled for them. For the first time, Arif truly believed he wasn't homeless anymore. He belonged, and that, more than anything, was unbelievable.